I have to thank Terry B. Moore for sending me this update right here. So we all know who this piece of shit is. This is Arthur Williams. He's the guy that attacked that black man in Baltimore a few days ago and had resigned. I think was it yesterday or the day before? Well, it just came out that Marilyn Mosby, the state attorney for Baltimore City, has charged him with assault. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from the Baltimore Sun. It says, a Baltimore police officer who repeatedly punched a man over the weekend in an altercation caught on video was charged Tuesday with assault, and a warrant has been issued for his arrest. Baltimore State's Attorney Marilyn J. Mosby announced Tuesday that a grand jury indicted Arthur Williams on charges of first and second degree assault and misconduct in office. Mosby said the first-degree assault charge fits this alleged crime and requires proof that Williams intended to cause serious physical injury in the commission of the assault. Williams, who resigned from the force over the weekend, could not be reached for comment. He probably turned off his phone. It's unclear whether he has hired an attorney. Lieutenant James, 6-year-old Deshaun McGreer, with his fist and knee, in taking him to the ground in front of an East Baltimore row house on Saturday. McGreer does not fight back in the recording and is bleeding on the ground when Williams is on top of him. McGreer, a warehouse worker at Dietz and Watson, suffered a fractured jaw and ribs, swelling around his eye and ringing in his ears, according to his lawyer Warren Brown, who is seeking restitution payments from the city for his clients. Brown said Tuesday that the indictment was unsurprising and appropriate. I applaud Marilyn Mosby for doing the right thing. Mosby said no charges have been filed against the second officer at the scene who briefly grasped McGreer's arm in the video before backing away from the beating. Our preliminary assessment of the available evidence has been that, in light of his responsibilities at the scene, there are no criminal charges that are appropriate, Mosby said of the second officer, who has not been identified. Sandra Allman Cooper, president of the Baltimore branch of the NAACP, told The Sun she was glad the first officer had been charged, but said the second officer should have done something. He should have stopped him before it was so bad, said Allman Cooper, who had called for the second officer to be fired and criminally charged. He has been placed on administrative duties. Sherilyn Eiffel, president of the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, said she was glad Mosby had taken this important first step toward accountability. Baltimore residents need reassurance that the law applies to everyone, including police officers who violate their oath of office and the community's trust in this way. Mosby said prosecutors reviewed and presented the grand jury with a great deal more evidence than just the viral video. Interim Police Commissioner Gary Tuggle has said he reviewed two separate police body camera videos, which he described as relatively consistent with the public video. Mosby declined to give her personal opinion on the video or case, but she said it's one we take seriously, which is why we present these charges in front of a grand jury, and ultimately those charges were returned. She added the evidence in this case was both apparent and available. Mayor Catherine Pugh said the announcement was expected. I think the state's attorney is doing what the state's attorney does. Tuggle this week called the beating disturbing. He said the officers encountered McGreer shortly after 11:45 a.m. on Saturday near the 2500 block of East Monument Street on the edge of Milton, Montfort, and Madison East End neighborhoods. The officers stopped McGreer, let him go, and then approached him and gave him a citizen's contact sheet. When he was asked for his identification, the situation escalated when he refused. Well, I don't have to really continue anymore. It's just basically giving a recap of what happened. But this is just an update. I like this with other cases. I'm not going to hold my breath either, because remember, it was black officers involved with Freddie Gray a few years ago, and that too happened in Baltimore, and he actually was killed. He actually died. This man actually lived, so we'll see what'll come of this. I'll be surprised if it does, but even if it does, that lets you know right there that the black cops, y'all can't do what your white counterparts do and actually think you're going to get away with it. Now, if he doesn't get away with it, then maybe he should have had some white cops with him, because, with Freddie Gray, it was like split down the middle. It was like half white, half black. But see, in this case, it was just him and another black officer. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I won't hold my breath, but Baltimore PD is about as corrupt as they come. They are definitely in the top 5 for me, most corrupt police departments in the establishment. Y'all let me know what you think about this update down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be down below. I'll talk to you in the next one.